So I want to have a serious talk. If you have placed me on any kind of teacher pedestal, please take me down, or I'm going to fall down pretty brutally. I have no ambition to be a spiritual teacher. I mean, I would, however, like to be a friend who can point others home to themselves, in best case. In worst case, I might be a little bit full of myself and caught in some idea of who I am. Then, in case that happens, please don't collude with that. It's like, as soon as you start sharing publicly about these questions, it's like you're expected to take on a role of being the knower, of claiming that the wisdom that you try to point to is something that you live by all the time. But I don't think anyone does. I think we're all just human doing our best in this messy existence. I've had quite a few what I would consider spiritual teachers over the years, and they have all fallen down from the pedestal I put them on. It turns out they weren't the embodiment of the divine, or actually they were. They were the embodiment of the divine, but in human form. And as such, they are going to be human. It's impossible. Anything else is just expecting an untruth. And people not being spiritual teachers to us, or like not being this divine symbol that we take them to be, is actually a teaching in itself. Because all anyone else can do to us is point us back home to ourselves. So if anything I say is guiding you home to yourself, then pick it up, cherish it, look that way. And if something I do does not guide you closer to truth, well, then discard it. It's like one of my early teachers, he said that take the jewel and leave the cow pie. And I just love that expression, because that means that we can get divine teachings from people who are like divinity in human form. They don't need to be perfect. They don't need to have all of their human wiring totally refined. No, you listen to some cow pie, some cow poo, in case you didn't know what that was. And then you pick up the jewels that guide you home more. Because the thing is, I used to think that it was a gift that people held you in such high regard that they put you in some kind of an elevated position, as though you have accomplished, not accomplished, that you are something that they are not. Because the only way down from that is down, literally. And since I know all my human flaws, I know that whatever they have seen in me, which is probably true, or maybe not, but very likely so, and then made me into only being that, the more I reveal about myself, they're gonna be disappointed. So, how do I phrase this? Like, the most beautiful gift we can give to someone is to see them the way they are. It's not a compliment to think that someone is only their refined, their sharpest, their wisest moment in life. Because, well, they're not. Loving people unconditionally with all their little human twists and turns and, yes, whatever they do, that is the most loving thing. That's the most honest thing we can do to someone. And that includes people who we find helpful in guiding ourselves back to truth. And for me, it's of course a teaching also not to fall for either to be elevated, seen as a teacher, as though I know something that other people can't access, but also to be belittled, as though everything I say, everything I point to completely lack value because my humanness shines through. No, they come together. They're polarities. You can't have one without the other. You cannot have divine manifesting in duality and only get the divine part, not get the the troubles that comes with being in a separate form. At least that's my experience. I know Rupert Spira, who is one of my, I want to say teacher now, but I know he prefers to be called a friend. And it's becoming more and more clearer for me why he prefers to be called a friend rather than a teacher. And he says that there's a reason that all the saints that we look up to today are not only saints, but like gurus and divine humans, there's a reason why it takes about at least 100 years after their death until they're elevated, because anyone who ever knew them in human form, they need to have been gone. We need to have washed this person or the memory of this person clean of all their humanness. But anyone who's alive today speaking about these topics, they are they're lived manifestations. They have their humanness with them. It's evident. People can meet them. People can wait for the bus with them. You can see them when they're hungry, when they haven't slept, and they're going to be human. They're going to slip up. Yes. It's a funny word, a spiritual teacher, because I use it myself for people who teaches me a lot. But I think the longer I stay on the path, the less I actually mean that they are teachers in the sense that in the sense that you think in schools, like you look up to the teacher as though they have the answers, but rather seeing them as pointers, pointing each other back home. And the greatest gift I can receive on this channel is if you walk next to me on this path. See me as nothing more than a curious friend. Someone who's looked in all angles she can find and are still on that journey. But the moment you put me on a pedestal, you're going to be disappointed. I am very human. And I think I already said this, but if I share a video where I myself forget about that, or I think I have to build a teacher persona, well, don't collude with that. Just let it be. Leave the cow pie. Ultimately, we are the only ones who can really find our way home. Yes. Having said that, though, please walk this journey with me. I can't do it on my own. And I think we all need each other. Yes.